Robert Dekker. I'm together with Herbert Rijken, who is the professor of the education program. We're running this program, and today we also have Mira with us, Mira van der Vlag. She is supporting us in the technical side, and we have somebody from Treasury Excel, which is Kendra. Kendra has been organizing this, and she will also be the person who will basically put this online. So for those who cannot join today, they can follow it afterwards. What we would like to do, we're doing 2 sessions today and next week. So the 17th of August and the 24th of August, both at 10 o'clock till 11. Today, we're going to talk about more the philosophy about the program at the VU. The Herbert will tell everything about it. And afterwards, in 1 week time, on Wednesday, the 24th, Peter de Gievit and myself, Peter is from Treasury XL, we will talk about the career possibilities when doing, let's say, the program, or if you have finished the program. So these are the 2 angles we like to take. The reason we're doing this in the middle of the summer is that actually, yes, we're starting on the 1st of September again with the program. And there are always people who are in the summer who have ample time or have good time, so they can follow us, and they might come to the idea to follow also the program and to make sure we still have enough time to enlist them and enroll them to the program. So that's why we're doing this in August, and maybe if this is successful, we will continue this in autumn as well for more marketing purposes. So this for today. The last remark I'm going to make, because we're small, if you have a question, please ask your question. Sometimes Herbert has a problem hearing you very clearly. So if I can ask you to be very clear in asking your question so that Herbert directly can respond to that. So that would be nice. If not, put it on the chat and we can read it. For instance, Sven, if you're not available, if you put it on the chat, we all can read it. Yeah. Okay, Herbert, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Together with Robert, we are coordinating the program we're talking about today. We also have Kendra from Treasury XL and also Mira van der Vlag also joining this session, also from the Vrije University from the program. Yes, what's on the dish this morning? It's about executive education. So we have some ideas about what's best, what serves best, let's say, executive professionals when they have already maybe 5 to 10 years working experience. What do we have to offer as a university and also as a Treasury community to educate or to train or whatever you might call it. So I will split this relatively short presentation in 2 parts. First, I'll give you a little overview about the program, where are we talking about, and then I'm only talking about, okay, what are the learning goals, how do we achieve them, and what are the demands in the market. So that's what I want to discuss with you this morning. So I have a brief, let's say, introduction of about 20 to 30 minutes in the beginning. So if you have any questions about that, then you can address them during my presentation. After the presentation, we can have a discussion about this presentation itself. So please join me in the presentation. So the program we're talking about is a unique program. It's Treasury Management and Corporate Finance. It's a 1.5-year program, weekly attendance by participants. And we address, let's say, we focus very much on a broad field in Treasury management. So we do corporate finance, we do liquidity management, cash, risk management, and reorganization, and of course also very important is financial and fiscal law. So we try to cover, let's say, 80–90% what you encounter in your, let's say, professional life as a treasury manager. So some key facts. So we have 6 modules. So it's an 18-month program. So we have financial risk management is one big component. We have corporate financial management. It's more focusing on, let's say, accounting issues, it's financial statement analysis, corporate valuation. And then we also look at the corporate markets. how you organize the treasury function within an organization, also the fiscal and financial law aspects, and of course, where it all started with treasury management is the cash management. So we have weekly, we have lectures from 3:30 to 8 o'clock. And what you will see in 1.5 years, you may encounter 40 different lectures on average. I mean, it can fluctuate a bit, but a lot, it's not just one lecture which you'll see. And there's also, I'll come back later on that, a key feature of this program is that you will encounter with a lot of opinions, a lot of practices and whatever. So you can form your own, let's say, idea about treasury management and develop yourself as, let's say, a professional. So we have lecturers as a mix. Most of them are from our professionals, from our partners, Sanders, Orchard, PwC, KPMG. We have also EY at the moment. And of course, we have also some academic professors with professional experience. So it's already running for 25 years, this program. Our partners also send senior affiliates as lecturers. And at the end of the 1.5 year program, you will be awarded with the title Registered Treasurer. And this is, well, within, I would say, in the treasury community here in the Netherlands, widely recognized and known. Okay, so this is a brief overview. I can talk much more about it, but this sketches a bit the scene in which I want to discuss with you the teaching philosophy. So what are we doing? Why are we having this program for you? Let's start first, as you will all recognize, and you read in the magazines or websites, whatever. I think things are moving fast, although Treasury itself might not change that much. But the regulation, the technology, data and analytics, they are changing fast. So you have to keep up as a professional. You have to keep up with all these developments. Treasury management systems become more advanced, more automatic, less, let's say, a human intense. Blockchain, you have to have, whether you take it or not, at least you have to need to have an opinion about it. Security issues, regulation, you will see all kinds of different rules about accounting, compliance. You might not do it yourself, but your accountant will come by and ask all kinds of information from you, and you have to provide the information to the accountant in a very efficient way. So you have also to have to keep up with all these changes in accounting rules. And also you have to know exactly about, let's say, transferring cash all around the world, what are the legal aspects of that, tax issues, and so on. You might know, for example, how it works today, but it's also interesting to follow the developments and to act proactively. So it's relatively complex, and complex, of course, everybody calls everything complex, but it's not extremely simple handling a cash management system. It's much, much more than that. So I hope you agree with me, is that we have a need for an academic professional, and that's the key term in the teaching philosophy of the executive program. So why do we need an academic professional? And later on, I will elaborate what I exactly mean by that. You need to keep up with all these developments. You need to have also a proactive attitude, not only follow these developments, but also maybe also form opinions about developments, and also proactively organize your organization to keep up with these developments. Of course, if you want to have a proactive attitude, you need to master, let's say, all these developments itself. So you have to train yourself, you have to keep up with it, read about it, talk about it, go to conferences, in networking, and so on. And if you master them, then you might also may have an impact on these development. That's interesting. And that's especially also for an academic professional, and it makes also your life very much enjoyable, is that you become a real professional by also having impact on these developments. Okay, so these are the developments, and then also all these developments, they lead to these requirements for, let's say, an academic professional. And that's how we organize our, let's say, teaching philosophy. So that the whole program is focusing on the necessary skills of the academic professional. And then we focus very much on, let's say, a 3-pillar concept. I will come back later on that. So how we do that? So if you want to become an academic, we strongly believe that you have a knowledge base, up-to-date overview of what's the state of the art in Treasury and corporate finance. So broad and also robust knowledge base. That's the starting point for every professional. Just knowledge is not, let's say, all what you need. You also need to apply it in very specific situations. So you have to be creative in applying all these concepts, all this knowledge in your specific situation. For example, you can know everything about risk management, but as you know, if you want to apply the risk management, set up a hedging policy or whatever, you must still be very creative in what do you hedge, what you don't hedge. So it's also more an art, or you need to have skills to achieve, let's say, the right solutions in very specific situations. And then third of all, I just described in the previous slide all these developments. You need also to be able to assess the new developments, and stimulate them, create new concepts, and quickly adjust or adapt, let's say, to new concepts. This is the more, let's say, this is about the regular, which you should do on a daily basis. This is maybe for an academic to do something more than that, is also to be part of the new developments and have impact on these developments. And what we do not do in the program is all kind of interdisciplinary management skills. It's not a program about management, but I just mentioned this as a very important. What we see is that treasury managements are more and more, let's say, part of the entire organization, not an isolated, let's say, department within an organization, but very much also a center to stimulate working capital management, also help accounting departments. So on a daily basis, you have very much to do with other disciplines within the organization. So this is the teaching philosophy of our program. So this is about the knowledge base. It's about knowledge. This is about application of, let's say, the knowledge, as I just said here. This is number 2. And here we have, let's say, the third pillar is the next step is to form opinions on, let's say, developments in treasury management and corporate. And here you really have the expert role. This is more about execution. This is more about execution here. So what you see here is 3 levels of what I call knowledge, whatever. And so it's about knowledge base, application in practice, and then new insights. So the first also, the bottom line, yes, you need to be aware of, let's say, the state of the art. So you need to read the professional literature and so on. And this is the start. This is more, let's say, what you do in university or in courses or learning programs and so on. Next step is, and that's more, let's say, intense learning, is how to apply it. So you need to train yourself in, let's say, applying, let's say, concept in a very specific situation. So reading the newspaper, how competitors do it, or media in Treasury, you can do case discussions, specific case discussion, interactive sessions, and guest speakers. That's what we exactly do in the program. We have about 40 lecturers. They all have their own opinion. They all tell their own story, how they apply specific concepts in, let's say, specific situations. So this is what we train a lot in our program. Of course, the bottom line knowledge is part of that. It might be, let's say, 30%, but we spend most of our time, hopefully we're still there, slideshow. Oh. Sorry. something went wrong here. Okay, so here we focus very much here. Applying, this is about 30% of our time we spend over here. But this is by far most, it's 40% of our time. We really train you in applying concepts in practice. And then last but not least, we take another step. It's really next step to give you some kind of an expert role. And so if you are a treasury professional, we want to push you all to the edge, is that you're also able to, let's say, judge the concepts and create new concepts, or have new insights how to apply these concepts in a better way. So this is really about discussing, let's say, state of the art, reading very carefully the most recent literature, doing data analysis, and you can also do all kind of essay writing. We'll come back later on that. So this is the key idea, the three pillar concept, starting from the basics, applying all the application skills you need to apply, let's say, these concepts in practice. And the next step is to push you in some kind of an expert role, and you will be surprised how easily, how quickly you can get into that if you master the basics, if you master the applications, and you start reading literature or hearing opinions from your peers in your network, or and so on, putting it on paper and forming, let's say, your own opinions. And relatively easy, you can take a lead in a discussion about new developments. So that's what we also do in our program. So it's very much focusing on essay writing, data analysis, and sometimes also in class, we discuss, let's say, the state of the art. What's the next step? To give you an idea more, just by example, what we exactly mean by that. Okay, a treasury in its daily life needs what we call execution knowledge. And I'll take the example, for example, if you want to value a company, you need to have, let's say, cost of equity. And the cost of equity you get from some kind of a model. And there are concepts how to apply the cost of equity, 10%, 5%. So you need the standard knowledge. This is what we call execution. You need to go to Bloomberg, find the data, you need to use the database, and so on. The next is the background knowledge. Mostly you don't have that on your daily life, but sometimes you can think more deeply about where do these Amada formulas come from. What am I? Yes?
9.
Yeah, Hiram, are you? Have a question? Oh, okay, I'll move on. But in a daily life, you need execution knowledge. But then what you also can think about, what am I doing? It's a step further, a step deeper.
Hiran, can you mute yourself? If not, can Mira, can
yeah, okay, it happened. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So you start with execution knowledge in your daily life, but then also you want to know, what am I really doing? What's the background of these formulas? What is the quality of the data in Bloomberg? How do I have to think about it? And then you can also come up, for example, what's the background of the models you apply to, for example, the CAPM model? What are the restrictions? Can I apply it in every situation, a specific situation? So when you apply these concepts, can I apply it in every situation, or do I have to be careful? That's what we call background knowledge. And a third level is you really start thinking about the background and go for a next step. You can go for alternative models or whatever, or what's the state of the art, and you form, let's say, expert opinions on that. Most of the time, of course, you are here in your daily life, but it's interesting also to know some more background on what you do in your daily life, and even think about the background knowledge and maybe change that. And that's what we call, it's of course, it's about a profession, but it's also more about an academic attitude, thinking deeply about what you are doing. So this is maybe just by example to support, let's say, the three-pillar concept, to make more clear what we mean and why we are applying this three-pillar concept. Okay, so just to give you an idea, so I just told you we 30% we do on bottom line knowledge. You really need to know knowledge by hand. Execution knowledge, 40% is about application, and 30% is very much pushing you an expert role. And we spend a lot of time on that. And a key thing what we do is we do that by essay writing. So each student, when they're in the 18 months, they have parallel, they have to write, let's say, an essay. And the whole idea is that you put yourself, or let's say the student puts himself or herself in an expert role. So you have to take, let's say a topic. It could be, for example, risk hedging. It could be, for example, cryptocurrencies. What could you do? Stable coins. Can you use it as a payment? Should we think about it? So you really dive into the new developments. You formulate clear dilemmas, not a very, it's more, you want to have the pros and cons, not an easy answer. So we want you to dig into something, an issue in Treasury, what does not have an easy answer. It really needs a thorough knowledge and also thorough thinking to come up with some answer. So you need to acquire a lot of knowledge, of course, in academic professional literature. Then you need an overview about all the opinions, the pros and cons of the dilemma. You ask your peers with interviews, what's your opinion? So you talk with your peers. And then last but not least, you form your own opinions. And then later on, you present and discuss your opinions with your peers. That entire process, we believe that is all key of executing an expert role. We want to do that with you. So you can also have a specific business case. This is just a variant we can have to the essays. You can have also a data analytics project, but that's basically what we want you to do. That's the ultimate, let's say, what we call pillar 3. We want you to enter in. So at that, we think if you do this all, if you have basic knowledge, if you have very, let's say, if you have experience, you have application skills to whatever specific situation, you can find solution, be creative in that. And also you can take an expert role. We believe that you are, let's say, very close to becoming an academic professional. And that's exactly what we mean by taking an academic professional. So to summarize, why would you want to become an academic? What's interesting of that? So basically, it's more than just execution knowledge and straightforward application. It makes you think a bit deeper, let's say, about all the concepts about your current practice. So you have to think beyond the standards of the professional practice, and then you can judge also for new. You can become proactive. You're not a follower, but you can also become more proactive. That makes you, let's call a true Treasury expert professional. And this is exactly, and we really want to stress that we believe, of course, that you have to answer yourself, but we believe that you can much more enjoy, let's say, your profession, not as a follower, but more as a leader. And we think that's it. And that if you have that, if you're an expert professional, you're more a leader, it's much more easy to function, let's say, on a board level and discuss with your CFO or CEO, whatever, all issues in treasury management. Because we believe that treasury management, corporate and also corporate finance is very much more becoming a strategic issue in corporates. To summarize, and then I think I've made my point with the academic professional. Yes, we built a broad knowledge base, state of the art. We have about 40 lectures discussing all at every detail various issues in treasury management. Sessions are, of course, very interactive. It's not a one-way. We don't want that. We want also you to start think about your own professional. Students perceive it to be useful and very enjoyable timeouts once a week in the afternoon and also the beginning of the evening. Yes, I think expert role, that's what we want you up to take. You can take the lead in discussion, not only within your organization, but also in networks from Treasury professionals, and that might take you, let's say, to the next level. Also very interesting, if you take more an expert role, you have more stories to tell. I think you will also get more connected to the Treasury community. People are attracted to people who have a story, who have opinions, and I think that all makes the circle around. I think, yes, so ultimately, this also being connected, let's say, to your peers also makes you enjoy also your Treasury profession. And that's the ultimate goal of, let's say, the executive program, is to give you a next boost, a step further to a next level, being a Treasury and corporate finance professional. So that's, I think, the main line of the story. We started with the current developments. And from the current developments, we also said we need for an academic professional. I introduced the 3-pillar concept: knowledge base, application skills, and expert role. How we do that in the program to facilitate, let's say, the education in these 3 pillars. I gave you an example what we exactly knew by different levels of knowledge: execution knowledge, then knowledge about the background of the concepts, and then the next level is forming opinions about these knowledge. How we do it, more about you writing the 2 essays, and we have also listed some arguments why to become an academic professional, and actually more specific to the program. So hopefully you got my point, and I can understand you might have questions about this, but basically that's what we're doing here with our Treasury Management and Corporate Finance program. Thanks for your attention, and let's have a good discussion.
Sven, you have one of your questions was, are the lectures online? In principle, no, because everything is in class. That's something we want, especially for the reasons Herbert is describing, because it's interactive, and in class it works much more better than doing it online. But the practice have learned of the last, let's say, 2 years, that as we are a university, we have to provide the education also online. The reason is, if people do have health issues or whatever, we like you to stay home, but we do not want you to miss any class. So until so far, we always put on a camera and we recorded it. It's not our purpose, but for this reason, we have done it. So it might happen that as from September, again, we put on the camera, but it has also a reason not to put on the camera, because we want to avoid that people stay home. You know, we do not ask you to come to college or to class, but we learn over 25 years that hardly nobody wants to miss a class, because this is, let's say, the day in the week that everybody wants to be together. So yeah, for practical reasons, we put on the camera, but it's not our intention. Yep.
If there's the option of a camera, what we see is that 90% of the students still come physically to the university, because they simply, they say it's a better learning environment. And secondly, you also meet your peers. That's also one of the aspects why students like less of the program. Of course, it's the program itself, but also to exchange experiences with peers from other organizations, and building up your own network.
Herbert, I have a question. Assuming you don't do this, so you don't follow the path in becoming an academic treasurer, then what happens to you as a person? I'm the devil's advocate today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, what I think is, I will go back to these levels of functioning. Of course, you can function quite well as a treasurer. I mean, if you have all your execution knowledge, you keep on going. But I'm talking very general. I mean, there are always exceptions with people, they might, but you keep on doing the same, let's say, practice. If you find with that, that's good. But if you want to develop yourself, you want to push yourself, let's say, to a next level, it's interesting to follow the program because you have all kinds of opportunities. You find new ideas, you write essays, at least you experience somehow also what the next level is. So it's part of the development to take on, let's say, the next step. And it's not an academic program. I stress that it's designed for professionals. We use the word academic. It's not that you only use that, let's say, learn academic concept. No, in the contrary, it's all about practice. Yes, you use academic concept, but what practitioners use in practice. So the whole program is entirely designed for professionals, and everything what we do in the program is to bring you up, let's say, to a next level as in what we call academic professional. So academic is more about logic reasoning. It's more about academic, or let's say, expert opinion formation. So what we have here is about becoming an expert in Treasury as a Treasury professional. So the word academic is not that it's far away in ivory tower. No, it's not about that. It's very much focused on the real professional wanting to make the next step in his career development.
Massimo, you want to ask a question?
No, thank you.
Okay. No, I saw yours suddenly came up in the screen. Herbert, I have another question. What is the luggage you have to take with you? I don't mean luggage in terms of burden, but more like, you know, what should be the background? What is the ideal way to enter into the program?
First of all, of course, you need to have some experience in Treasury, or let's say at a finance function. You must have some kind of a affinity with the Treasury profession. That's first of all what you need to have. And the second, some kind of an ambition to go for the next level. Then you really find, let's say, then you really find something added value in this program. So first of all, you must have some starting knowledge in the finance profession or in the Treasury profession. You must have some working experience in the finance Treasury profession. And last but not least, very much the ambition for the next level, willingness to meet peers, willingness also to build up your network, and making Treasury and corporate finance your profession. If you have that in your luggage, then I would say this is a perfect entry for you to start the program.
Good. In the meantime, are there other questions from the audience? It's now the time to ask your questions. And again, next week we will talk about more, let's say, the career opportunities. That's, let's say, the second part of this session, what we're doing. Today it's more about the philosophy. So let's focus on that. Then again, Herbert, I have a question, because obviously this program is not the only one who's offered, but maybe you can answer that. If you look at the world of Treasury education, For instance, in the UK, you have the ACT, well-known institution. You have universities around the world. What makes this difference than what you see in other programs offered?
Well, what I know about, well, let's say first, this program is unique. A program focusing on pillar 1, pillar 2, and also pillar 3, I would say. I'm quite careful, but if I look at the let's say other programs, they're much more focused on knowledge. So they have, let's say, a much higher percentage, maybe 80% or maybe 90% in this area, and because that's what you can do at a distance, that's what you can do online. So you have all these books, you take the knowledge, you go to the exam, and then you reproduce, let's say, the knowledge on the exam. This program is much more focused on applying. It's much more on case discussions, interactive sessions, talking with a lot of guest lecturers. That is very intensive. That's why you have also the physical presence here you need. It's a complete different program. And also pushing you, let's say, at least to some kind of an expert role. I'm not very much aware of, let's say, other programs doing that. So you might see that maybe a little bit in other programs, but in a very different, I would say, percentage. So other programs might be much more focused on knowledge, while we have a more, let's say, spread attention, let's say, across pillar 1, pillar 2, and pillar 3. That's how I would largely, let's say, describe the difference between this program, quite unique program, and other programs in the market. But the market is changing, but this is how I see it today.
Let me get a question to the audience. Having heard Herbert talking about this 1.5-year program, 6 modules, 2 papers, the academic background, just a small reaction from people. Do you think this is too long? Is it too short? How do you look at it from a distance? And I'll just pick out one. Maybe Gerard. Gerard, are you still in? Let me check. Is Gerard still in? No, I don't see him. So Massimo, if you look at it from what you heard, do you does it sound like a logical program? Is it too long, too short? What's your opinion?
From my point of view, it's a bit long. I mean, I think 12 months should be okay, but 18 months sounds at the beginning, just the first impression, too long for me.
Okay, interesting. Good answer, clear. Hiran, do you have the same opinion, different opinion? Or maybe Roel?
Yeah, Robert, I think I would prefer rather a longer program than a short, because the workload will be, I think, less when concentrated in a year, to be combined with other things like work or your personal life, etc. So for me, it's not an objection.
Okay, good. Herbert, I have another question to you. Because you're not only doing this program, I also know that you're doing the program, the evaluation program, and you're setting up the restructuring program. Basically, will it follow the same kind of setup as we talk about this program? So the answer, actually, the question is this a kind of offering the VU executive education is standing for, or is it per, let's say, program differently?
Well, if I look at university, basically we offer this program from a university. This is the type of, let's say, teaching we want to offer. We don't want to offer programs only about not providing knowledge. But we really want to do more and let you think about your profession. And I think that's also the role of university, to ask questions, to address questions, to worry about things, let's say, to be a bit suspicious about, let's say, developments, and to ask the real questions and to get answers. So from that perspective, that's the role of the university. That's why we offer these kind of programs. And yes, also the other two executive programs I'm offering are really doing this. But again, to come back to the question before that, is what should be the package? Should it be 12 months? Should it be more split in 3 parts? And you can opt to take the part 1 when you want, whenever you want, when it fits with your schedule. Or so there are different ways to offer, but basically the teaching philosophy I presented here should be the base of any program we offer, because I believe in it. And I think that's what the most added value to professionals who already have a lot of knowledge, already have experience. So what do you offer a professional which already have experience and already have knowledge? We can only offer a next level. And that's what we believe, that's what we do. And of course, getting to a next level needs time. You can't do that in a couple of months. You need to train yourself. And whether it should be 12 months, I agree with, or let's say 18 months, but at least it needs time. And it also should be doable. And I agree with the rule about that, with your private life and also with your current employer. So that's also part of the game. So we're really trying to find a good match, let's say, to this teaching philosophy, trying to find, and also the added value we're willing to provide you, and how we exactly offer that program to you. Should it be 12 months? Should it be maybe 2 years or whatever? So if you can help us with that, with your ideas, that would be very, very helpful.
Okay, Herbert.
Herbert, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Another question, just a remark, because I recently, or rather recently, attended another study at RSM, Rotterdam School of Management, and also there was the prediction that it would be very practical, etc., and that would you bring to the next level, not only on an educational level, but also as a professional. And that's also what you say in these slides. And it's not that I don't believe you or think it will be different, but that's really what I would like to achieve during this course, that indeed it's not only a theoretical and case studies, but it is also indeed a very practical approach in which you learn from other people and other professionals, because that's what looking at myself, I'm really looking for to get indeed to the next level, and not only based on papers and on studies.
No, that's exact. That's why we're also very keen on having a lot of guest lecturers. So in total, you meet, let's say, 40, because we don't believe that only one lecturer can tell it all. And also we have the peers, let's say, so we really also stimulate networking within the program. So I fully agree with you. But I have answered your question correctly. So I think, of course, other universities also provide such a teaching philosophy. That wouldn't surprise me, but we really want to, let's say, we also add what we call the expert role.
Yeah.
Because that's really taking you out your comfort zone and trying to get you to a different, let's say, level.
Yeah, I have it was indeed some kind of question, but it was besides that also some kind of, not doubt, but I wonder whether I think it is a good approach to have indeed 40 guest speakers, etc. But it depends on the quality of those speakers and the way they help us getting a better professional. So it's not that I doubt, but I hope really to encounter that, or to to get that indeed extra information and experience during this 1.5 years.
Rule, I can
Yeah.
take away your doubt. I should be independent now because I'm the moderator, but I know the program quite well. I see a lot of people, let's say, working with the program and studying in the program.
Yeah.
And they all agreed that what we have promised up front, we stick to our promise. So that's basically a little bit of your background. You have been promised something, and in practice, it looked a little bit more theoretical. This is not the case. In our program, yes, some things will be theoretical because we think you need to have it. That's already explained by Herbert. But I can tell you, the people who are actually in the program, the students, the alumni, there are very practical people, and they make us, they put us in, let's say, also in a direction that we have to keep it practical. On top of that, we evaluate every, let's say, week, every module we evaluate, and this is exactly what comes up. So as soon we see that we do not live up to the expectations we have brought, directly we will be punished, because in the evaluations it's shown that, you know, it's too, let's say, theoretical, it's too practice, or etc. So
Yeah.
that's how we work. I would not say it's overly democratic, but yes, we have a tendency to sit close to, let's say, the students, listen to them very carefully. Yeah, and sometimes we have to be very hard because we have to make an exam and tell them that they didn't pass it and they have to redo it. So there, let's say, democracy stops, and you have to pass your test. But on average, I can tell you that people are very, let's say, happy with the balance between theoretical and practice. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, maybe,
Also,
and
maybe,
then
maybe
also,
something to add to that, rule.
Yeah.
It's also when the program for the students themselves. So we offer a lot. We offer a lot of guest lectures, case discussions, we balance all, let's say, the knowledge. We try to push you to the expert role, but ultimately, let's say, you have to take the opportunities from the program and develop yourself. So we offer a lot. And on the other side, so you have to pick it as a student and then develop yourself doing the program. Of course, you have many choices. You have also these case discussions. You can find your own topics. The essay writing, you can find your own topics. You can also focus on some classes somewhat more than the other one, do more. You can also approach, let's say, the guest lectures and also the lecturers yourself. So you can also take the max out of the program yourself. It's a two-way process.
yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Maybe you want
for the time matter, Herbert, we basically have come to the end of this, let's say, session. May I ask you to put on the last slide? Herbert, can you do that?
There we go.
Yep, thanks. Today we talked about, let's say, more the content-wise, the philosophy of the, let's say, the program. Next week on the 24th, together with Peter, we talk about, let's say, the career possibilities. What can the program bring you or not? So stay with us on next week as well, from 10 till 11. If you have questions in the meantime, I'm showing you the information over here, how to contact us. Please reach out. The people from the secretary, they will put us in contact with you, and people who are already in the session have talked with me. You know, we respond quite directly, so we're there to step in it. For now, I like to thank everybody, and especially Herbert, for explaining us the philosophy of the program, and hope we will see you back next week. Thanks.
Thank you all for participating. Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.